Hello, hello, party people. So good to have you here. I'm going to go ahead and get us started. We're talking today about Hey, hi. Sweet Side. You just made me so happy. Sweet Side cartoon. Yay. Pleasure coach. Yay. Anthony Trucks. Okay, hold on. Have you outgrown your identity? That's what we're talking about today. Big stuff. Have you outgrown your identity? All right, hold up. Oh, Spencer, my love. Oh, my heart is so happy that you're here. Let me post this. Anthony, I'm about to intro you and bring you in. How do I pin this comment? Oh, wait, I don't think I can. I think you all started chatting first. All right, welcome everyone, welcome. To those of you who, it's been a while, Spencer, yes. It's so good to have you here, and we're going to be deep diving on a subject that can feel pretty tender, and we're in very, very good hands with this subject, with my dear new friend and colleague and coach, Anthony Trucks. And, Heather, hello! So glad that you're here. And we're going to be talking about what do you do when you feel like you have outgrown your identity and you feel like you've lost who you are. You don't even remember how you got to who you've become, right? And it can be really, really disorienting and really arresting and sobering. And so we're in very, very good company, and we're in very, very good hands, all of you sweet people who are here. And if you have ever had that experience where you feel like you've outgrown your identity, that who you are doesn't feel like who you were, or who you were no longer lines up with who you're needing to be and wanting to be and hoping to become, then you're in exactly the right place. So I'm going to bring on Anthony in just a second here. Also, if any of you have been on the Dreamcatchers District podcast in the past, I know Heather, you have, go ahead and wave your hand. Everyone go and check out her episode on the Dreamcatchers District podcast. She's also a dear friend, and she has been such a sweet gift in my life, and I love you. And let me intro my man here. Hold up. How do we get you? Hold on. There you are. Anthony. Also, is my audio better? Anybody tell me?
Did he make it?
Yeah, there he is.
I was making tea. I had to make some tea real quick, and I sprinted back to the studio so you guys didn't see me in my dark hallway. It would have been hard to see my black face in a black hallway.
That's a good-looking face. You know, it's funny. I'm doing well, man. Everybody, let me know. Is my audio better? Because my audio was kind of crap when I did this yesterday.
That sounds good to me.
It sound all right? All right, good.
That sounds good on my end.
Okay, so I was just welcoming people in. Everybody, hey, I don't know how to say all these handles.
Hey,
I'm gonna go by
people.
so fast. I wanted to introduce you to those who don't know Anthony. You are in for such a sweet treat. Anthony and I are going to be talking about today, what do you do when you've outgrown your identity and you feel like who you were has either gotten lost in the shuffle because maybe you've outgrown someone, someplace, some project, or who you're becoming is not yet who you're being, and so you're out of alignment, right? Things aren't congruent yet. And let's first say Anthony is a former ex-NFL player, American Ninja Warrior. He's also a phenomenal speaker and coach, and you've been such a gift in my life, and I'm so grateful to have you here.
Yeah, thank you for being here. I'm happy to be here, man. I guess I get a blast. I have a blast of the things I get to do. One, work with great people like yourself, but then two, like doing stuff like this. There's people that are tuning in, they're like, I don't know what's going on. I promise you, if you guys stay on, there's going to be some nuggets that you learn that can then pivot literally the trajectory of where you're going in your life right now. It may come with a little bit of acceptance of things you don't want to quite accept just yet.
Oh, it's so true.
Yeah, but when you give yourself permission to suck at something, you actually give yourself permission to improve. And until you give yourself permission to not be perfect at it, You're stuck in the same cycle
Oh,
over and over. So we'll address some of that stuff. We'll talk about what it means. I think my perspective of what it means to feel outgrown, because some people right now might be outgrown, but don't realize that it feels like that. It's like, oh, I
oh.
thought it was just my shoulder. I had a tightness. Like, no, it's torn muscle. It's not just ligament straight. Like, there's differences, but we'll talk about it. We'll dig into it. But tune
Okay.
in. Stay tuned.
Hold up. First of all, you just said about like
Oh, she froze. Oh, she's
1,200
back.
different amazing gems that I want to marinate on. Let's welcome everybody here. Hey, look at all you beautiful party people. Hello, hello, hello. Anthony is very seasoned in this whole going live social media thing. I'm an offline kind of gal, so I'm going to let him make sure that you all get some love. I can't shut you out fast enough. But first, let us know where you're watching or listening from. Go ahead and type your city, your country, your
Yeah,
state. Where you at? And let us know also, in addition to where you're watching and listening from, do you feel like you know, like you know, like you know, like you know, as Lisa Nichols says. I love Lisa Nichols. If you don't know her, you should. Another mentor to me. Do you feel like you know that you have outgrown an identity? Right? If that's
yeah.
you, type
Big
sure
piece of it.
have, sure have, sure have outgrown an identity. Or if you feel like you're in the belly of the beast of it right now, go ahead and type right now. Right
Yeah,
now.
we got South Wales, UK. That's nice. I like that.
All right,
The
good, good,
UK.
good.
My daughter has a pretty good British accent. Not that anybody cares, but just letting you know. She comes out of nowhere with it sometimes. And it's like, it's funny seeing this little 11-year-old girl start talking like she's from British. And she goes, when I do it in school, sometimes people think I'm British. Like, no, they don't, Tatum. No, they
Nope,
don't.
nope. Actually, no, they don't. They don't.
Yeah.
Well, I know some very, very good acting coaches and some peeps in the entertainment industry. So you send her my way, and we'll get her hooked up.
Do it.
Kristen's
I'm
here.
gonna
Love it.
send her your way. I want to act one day. I don't know if I've ever told you this. At one point, I want to act in some capacity in something. I don't know what or why. Not a porno, but I do want to act in something.
Oh my gosh, jeez. He took it there, folks. He took it there. You did tell me that, and actually, before we dive deep into the conversation, which we're going to go into so many rabbit holes, but
Yeah.
one thing that I want to say right up out at the gate here, out the top, one of the awesome, awesome opportunities and gifts when you work with a coach, whether that's with me or that's with Anthony or that's with whomever, a great coach will hear your big, crazy, wild vision and dream. And
Mm-hmm.
you did this for me, Anthony. They will hear it, and they will not only just hold it, they will not only help support it and strategize it, but they will say, well, yeah, of course. And I see even bigger for you.
Yeah.
And you
Stretch.
did that for me. So when you
Yeah.
say, hey, I don't know how or when or where, but I want to act at some point, I
Yeah.
want to say back to you, of course.
Stretch it.
And
Stretch that one.
I see bigger. Yeah.
That'd be fun. Hey, I'm all for it, man. I'm a guy, like I said, my whole thing is potential. That's why this whole identity thing is something I talk about, because there's always that potential that, this was something to say this time. A metaphor I used for this, someone told me a while ago, is when we were kids, we have this big perspective of what's possible in the world. Potential is vast, and it's a 180 degree. We can see everything, right? And then what happens, we get older and we start getting dialed into this thing. And somebody tells us, here's the job you have to do, and here's what family looks like. And so by the time we're adults, we're stuck here. And this is all we see, and this is all we do. And then what happens, we wonder why our life kind of just feels like tight and there's not much to do. And this is, I think, the outgrown thing, is you feel like you should have a bigger view out here, but you can't see anything. And so what happens is, as we get to be more adults, we get great at something and stay here. But I think where life gets lived and you get the same experience and feelings, we start doing this again.
Yes.
You start opening up and seeing more things, different ideas. So for me, like the acting thing, it's like it's outside here. Like, I'm gonna see what's out there, right? One time I was doing hang gliding, and it's just weird stuff. But it's really nothing more than, like, I got certain moments in life. I bet we should probably do something with them. And if I think it's a good lead-in, if you're questioning, maybe I don't know if I've outgrown my identity or outgrown anything. Here's a simple way for you to do a self-check. We'll do a little self-check to see if you might have outgrown. If at some point in time you've stopped and said to yourself, why in the hell do I feel dead tired from working so hard, but I'm not as far along as I expected to be?
Yes.
If you've ever said that, there's a possibility. You might be a redneck, they said that, but like you might have outgrown your identity. Remember Jeff Foxworthy? If at any point in time you have heard the same thing in terms of areas you need to improve from multiple people, more than one person, and you keep shutting it off as if they're crazy. If you've heard the same thing from a couple people that aren't connected, like not mom and dad, but like two, like hey, there might be something to it. If at some point you feel like life just isn't like a full cup right now, if they feel like there's like this feeling of like, man, I'm doing this thing because I'm supposed to, and it just, but you don't have that excitement when you get up, odds are you've outgrown your identity because you know there's something more, something outside, a farther reach for your potential in life. And as much as people talk about this, I think they hear it like it's a separate thing for different people, and it's not for me. And I want people to reach out right now and grab it and pull it in, like shove it into your heart. Like, no, we're talking about you. Like, I'm
Yes.
talking
And
literally about you and your life.
yes. Oh my gosh. And the other thing that I really, really want people to hear as you're speaking into all of us, you're pouring into our hearts. Thank you so much for being here again.
Yeah.
I really want everyone to hear, and this is such part of my mission, because I have been right where you're talking about, as I'm sure so many of us have. You, me, we're all in this together, right? We're all these sloppy, messy humans that are kind of fumbling and bumbling our way through this crazy thing called life. And when you're in that scenario and you feel like you are down for the count, and you feel drained and you feel stuck and you can't figure out why in these environments with this level of low level engagement or this kind of lack of energy am I feeling so not myself, right?
Yeah.
And the body can do really wonky things. I was talking about this on an IG live yesterday with Brian Olivia. Your body starts showing up. That's another great litmus test, right? If your body starts
Yeah.
doing funny wonky things, right? You start gaining weight, you start getting hives, you start all of a sudden having migraines, you can't figure out why
Yeah.
you can't sleep, right? Like your body will scream at you, right? Arthritic
Oh, yeah.
stuff, inflammatory stuff. But the other thing that I really wanted to say, you can own your outgrown. You can get,
Yes.
once you have the support and the encouragement of someone like yourself, someone like myself, I hope, where it feels like a catalyst. It feels like a multiplier. And it
Yeah.
feels like there's some direction and momentum.
Draws
It
you.
doesn't have to feel where I think we start when we're down for the count, which is like, oh my God, I've
Yeah, it
totally
sucks.
lost my way. I don't know who I am. I don't know what I want. I don't know why I started. Oh no.
Yeah.
Right? You can
Well,
actually
there's a
get
mourning process.
pulled. Yes.
Yeah, there's a mourning like something died, and it feels like there's something dead inside most of the time. But there is a mourning process, and there's no right way or wrong way to go through that. But the biggest thing is like if you think about a person like say their wife died, and they never cry, like they're not mourning yet, and then maybe a year later, all of a sudden, the waterworks come out and they break down, like they're finally in mourning. A
Yes.
lot of people have that happen in life. They're in that stage of just stoicism, and it's like there's nothing wrong, and they haven't mourned it yet. And so because you haven't mourned it, you are not giving yourself access to what's available to you yet.
Yes.
Like you're just still in mourning.
So that's a perfect sort of segue. When you and I met,
Hmm.
this was fall this past year. You were speaking at Brendan Bouchard's live event. There were so many phenomenal speakers there. Tom Billio blew my mind. Lewis
Yeah.
Howes, Rachel Hollis, Brendan, of course, right? So many amazing, amazing speakers. And then there was this like rando, Anthony Trucks. I was like, who's
Who's
this
this
guy?
guy?
And
Yeah.
literally, I kid you not, people, dude walks his little body off the stage, standing ovation, and I like grab my phone and I'm like tick, 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 immediately direct messaging you. I think I sent you an audio
Yeah.
saying, hello, I don't know who you are, but we need to know each other, and I want you on the Dreamcatchers District podcast. And how quickly
Yeah.
can we do that? What I didn't tell you at that time was part of what moved me so much about your talk was not only that you're a phenomenal, phenomenal speaker. I mean, truly, you're one of the best speakers I've ever seen in the world. And I've seen a few. Like, I've been really
Thank you.
lucky. I don't know why, but I've gotten to see the Dalai Lama, Glennon Doyle, Maya Angelou, Elizabeth Gilbert, Lisa Nichols. You're right up there. I mean, you're
Thank
phenomenal.
you.
But I didn't tell you at the time that I was in a season of deep, deep grief, and that
Hmm.
I was days away from my 40th birthday, the first of my birthdays single,
Hmm.
and facing a massive transition in my life. And so when
Yeah.
you talk about grief and you talk about so many of us don't want to feel it, we easy button our way out of it. We date
Yeah.
out of it, we shop out of it, we work out of it,
Drink
we
out of it,
exercise,
drug out
drink
of
out
it.
of it. Right. We do anything to actually be with
Yeah.
it.
Hmm.
But the value when you're just with it, and I was like steeped in it for like 10 months,
Yeah. Hmm.
is then when the catharsis comes when the alchemy comes, it's clean.
Yeah.
And so you and I now are able to do all of this powerful, amazing work and feel all of this productivity and this growth and strategic focus, because all that junk is healed, and not healed permanently. It's still a process.
It's a scar. There'll always be a scar there. It's this natural normal.
Right. But we didn't like bypass it, right?
No, you can't bypass it.
So if anyone here is listening and any of this is resonating and you feel like, man, I'm in a season of a creative winter, go ahead and comment with that. If you're feeling like you're in a season of grief, go ahead and comment with that so that we know where you are. Or if you're in a season where you're coming out and you're feeling like the upswing, let us know that.
And I think one of the big things also for a lot of people is there's like there's a story that you have now that everybody's hearing, and realize everybody, Angie I see is showing love on here, and I definitely want to answer your questions of like how, because she wants to know like, how do we do this? Okay, now I get it. How do we do it?
Yes.
The big thing to realize is first of all, like when it comes to these situations, you don't have to have a catalyst moment. And a catalyst moment is, my husband leaves me. I have, I'm sitting at the grocery store and I'm in the checkout line and I might lose my mind, and then like this all falls apart. Like that doesn't have to be the moment we all wake up and do things. I think that the biggest realization that I've had is like the best time to wake up is like now, if you realize it's tough. There's a story about a dog that's on a porch somewhere, and a guy with a rocking chair, and the dog's like moaning, and someone comes up and asks him a question, and the dog's moaning. He goes, "Why is the dog moaning?" He goes, "Because he's sitting on a nail." And the guy goes, "Why doesn't he just move?" He goes, "It doesn't hurt him enough." Right. This is so like I heard the story from a podcast. I had somebody come on. I was like, man, it's powerful. A lot of people in life right now have a lot of nails in the side, but it just doesn't hurt enough. Yes. And they'll maintain and they'll just endure. And it's like, you don't have to endure nowadays. Like there is more than enough support and people in the world that'll step out and say, look, I got you covered. Do this X, Y, and Z. And I think one of the first things that you got to do, and one of the questions is, how do I get started? The first thing, definitely, just like AA, admit you got something to work on. Like that's really where I think a lot of my work is hindered by the fact that people in the beginning like to protect their problems. They want to fight for their limitations. Gay Hendricks says, if you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, that's powerful, because what happens is people come in like, I'm not here, I'm not there, I need this is messed up. And it's like, all right, what's going on? Oh, nothing. I just been doing this. Like, it's like they want to have this facade. And it's like, damn it, I need you to actually tell me the truth. And here's how I ache in it too. It's like a metaphor of a picture in your head. Imagine there's this dark, deep well, 100 feet down. And the bottom of that well is you. It's your soul. It's your happiness, your joy. It's all just dying down there in this hole. My mother-in-law called. Go mother-in-law.
Oh, I just lost you.
They call many times. But a lot of people are in the bottom of this well. There's 100 feet. I love her. She's actually awesome. There's a 100-foot well, right? But what they do is they want to drop the 75-foot rope down there. They want to give you just enough, but not all the way. And so what happens is we start dropping the rope and pulling it out, and lo and behold, they still have the same problem months, years later that they had from before, because they never got it 100-foot deep, which is, you know what? Yeah. Like when I divorced my wife, she had an affair, broke my heart, life fell apart. This is post-NFL, all this craziness. And I didn't drop the rope down deep enough. I put like 25 feet in, like I got to work on this, but the rest is her fault. It wasn't until I threw that rope to the depths and was like, dude, Anthony, your life is falling apart. You're not a good dad. You're out of shape. Your business is not doing well. Your marriage is falling apart. And every relationship after that seemed to keep falling apart. It wasn't until I said, oh, damn, I am the common denominator in all of this stuff, and I got to figure this out. I took some stupid deep ownership and dropped the rope down. And then you can start pulling yourself out of it. So the first thing, Angie, is you got to put the rope down. But here's the thing. Dropping the rope doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It doesn't at all. It's like, it just gives you a chance to see like, all right, this is really what I got to work on. Because when you finally start working on things, that's when you start having progress. And then you start having this confidence, and then it starts climbing. So a lot of us don't go to that depth to begin with. And then also a lot of us, unfortunately, we don't think we deserve much. And as people, we will fight for what we deserve, even if it's down here. And that's the problem, is we think we deserve. And it's like, I'll fight for this, but it's down here. But what if you want this? Yeah. How do you fight for this if you think all you deserve is this? Like people's relationships, they don't realize who you choose as a partner is a barometer for how you hold your self-worth. Like it's a big, like if I look at you and you're with someone that's this lamb, like that's what you think you deserve. You're choosing to fight for that. So I'm not saying leave your husband, but like if you realize you're in a job you don't like you got to realize like, how do I get myself to choosing to believe I deserve this? And here's how I promise that this is the simplest thing you have to realize you deserve it. You want this? You want it.
Yeah.
That's simple. You want it.
Hold up.
Therefore,
Drop the mic.
you
Mic
deserve it.
drop. Mic drop. You just said so much. And I know everybody's feeling it. I'm feeling it. And I'm feeling it because I've been in it. And we've
Yeah, me
talked
too.
about it privately so many times
Yeah.
now, right? One of my biggest intentions with launching my Outgrown and this new community, and even when I was doing the Dreamcatchers District podcast, I've always been fascinated about not only what makes great people great, but what makes them so very, very human.
Yeah.
And one of the things I think women in particular, but could be all of us, could be any of us, you all chime in and let me know if this is you, can be very human around is just what you were saying. We fight for what we think we deserve, and we hold on with iron hands to
So the anchor pulling us down. It's crazy.
the anchor pulling us down and to who we believe that we are and what we believe that we deserve. And we
Yeah.
can only see within a certain frame, like you were kind of describing
Yeah.
at the beginning, right? And we can't imagine for ourselves better. And I know for myself, and maybe this is some of you as well, I was talking about this yesterday on the other IG Live. Some of us can be so indoctrinated. I think particularly if you've had a history of trauma, if you've had times in your life where you didn't feel safe, you didn't feel like you belonged, you didn't know if you could stay.
Yeah.
We feel so careful to hold on to what we have.
Oh yeah. You might not have to think more.
And just grateful to be here, lucky to be here, thankful to be here, that we take it on the chin and we take it on the chin and we take it on the chin, and we're betraying ourselves. We're abandoning ourselves just to belong. And the trade-off is we're not becoming, right? So with Outgrown and with all of these conversations, the intention is how can we belong? How can we have psychological safety and know that we're enough?
Yeah.
Be loved, honored, and accepted for being human. And how can we become? How can we want more and ask for more and feel like we actually deserve more and then attract more? So this conversation, we are running out of time. We have such a quick
We got 8 minutes. We can go into some tactical stuff. I can actually teach for just like a couple seconds because I think the things you're laying out are definitive. Because I see like there's people on here like, man, I feel that. How do I do that? And there's some very strategic things. Like it's going to be painful. Just so you guys know, a crab, if you think about it, nobody knows this. It's like kind of a weird thing. But crabs, whenever they get to the point of feeling like they can't grow and they're just tight in, their shell starts to get tight and uncomfortable. They hide behind a pier. They shed the entire shell and they're creepy vulnerable. It's why they hide behind piers. And they grow this new shell so they can grow into it over time. And so what happens is when a lot of people are living life and they are outgrowing, you're going to feel pain, just like this crab. And you're going through this phase right now, as we all get to, which is now you kind of tuck away and we get rid of that shell, or you get stuck and you end up never growing. Like you end up feeling uncomfortable your entire life, like this crab would. But when you get rid of that shell, you're creepy uncomfortable. Like it's because you know what I'm saying? Like I'm naked, like, it's all here.
This is awkward. Yeah.
Right? But then here's the beautiful thing. It's you're still alive. You're not dead. You're still alive, right? And you get to regrow that shell bigger. And so the first part of it is, to accept that it's gonna come with some pain. It's not the physical pain. It's sometimes the more deep and enduring, it's emotional pain and it's mental pain. And it's all part of the process. But what you have to realize is the statement that is the root of my work, and I say it everywhere, it's what you create creates you. And so if somebody doesn't feel strong enough, feels weak, doesn't feel capable, that feeling won't all of a sudden change one day when you wake up. It never will. And even if you try and talk yourself into it, I believe I can, there's still a voice in the back of your head that will combat that. And it'll never latch in as an idea you can operate from, because you'll know in the root of your heart it's not true. So what do? You got to convince yourself. Well, what do you do to convince yourself? What do magicians do to convince you that's magic? They show you with their hands, right? That it's real in front of you. And so the same thing for you, you have to now create. But here's the crazy thing about creation. It is ugly and it's a dirty process. And most of the time, you'll never see the beauty of it until the painting's done, the sculpture's completed, right? The work of my life is done, the marriage is fixed. And so what I tell people is there's a journey of creation that is sucky. And every day you'll show up and it'll be painful. But today it's a 10. Tomorrow, since you learned something from the day before, okay, well, the next time you try, it's a 9. And the next time you try, well, it's a 7. And then you try it again, it's a 4, it's a 3. And then eventually it becomes 0. And this is, again, every day punching your head against a wall and it's hurt and it's painful, but it gets less and less painful. Then what happens is it now becomes joy. This thing that you hated doing in the beginning that was causing you pain, you love it. Like football, I hated it because I sucked in the beginning, and I figured out like to be great. I loved the game. I was in NFL. Like I felt amazing. Same thing with the speaking world. I got on stages and I sucked, and I was like, oh, I want to go feel that again. But eventually it's joyful, and it's all about building over time. Oh, look at Bella G. Rose says her zodiac's a Cancer. That's beautiful. But what happens is you build up over time, and what you create creates you. In this statement of I create this life, and over time, it's creating me. The physical actions and work that I'm doing, it returns on the investment of, you know what? In the beginning, I was trying to be a great speaker. I was trying to be a great husband. And now the arguments and the craziness, or getting on stage and getting, no one clapping and looking like a fool, I've done it enough to get to this point where, like, you know what, damn it, that's who I am. Like, you ain't taking that from me. Like, I've earned this. It's a different sense that only comes from creation. So what I'm telling people is the simplest way I can say it, and there's a lot of frameworks I teach in my programs, just like everybody that you coach, you talk through, right? The simplest way is to explain you're going through the creation process, not for anything more than on the back end, from going through the mud, you realize that, damn it, that's who you are. And here's the cool thing. There's always what's called the hero's two journeys of this. One journey is the achievement journey. It's like, I love the movie Mighty Ducks. I used to watch it as I was high school to get myself amped for football games. But you think about, like, they want to win that tournament and that medal, that, the state, whatever it is, and they want to be the champions. They got to beat that one team from across town. It's all black, like, right? There's the achievement of it. And they're going to the mud, right? Some kids are leaving the team, quitting the team. They're sucking. They're getting beat by everybody. That's the creation. They sucked in the beginning. And they keep moving. They keep moving. They keep moving. And eventually it's to the point where all of a sudden they achieve that damn thing. They win this game. They win the championship. And it's elation, right? And you get chills. You get chills for that moment. But the enduring piece that really made you feel good was seeing Emilio Estevez, date that did kid's mom, and that kid have confidence. The chubby kid feel great as the goalie, and the kid that was beating people up has acceptance. The girl feels pretty and she can wear a dress. Like, there's a different, and that's the transformation that most people don't grasp, is the real reason you're fighting through the dirty, crazy part of it. Creation isn't just the process of I'm creating to achieve, because then it's like, all right, I'm on the top of a mountain. No, because now when you get to the top of the mountain, you're a mountain climber. Vast, different change. And when we start realizing that simple rooted piece, it'll change your life.
Ooh, that is just fire right there. When you get to the top of the mountain, you're the mountain climber. It's that whole new way of being, right?
It's a different identity. It's an identity shift. It's you've outgrown this previous identity, and now you have this new identity of, like, that's who I am now. And you'll protect it with your actions, and they become effortless, but that's who you are now.
Yes. The same way, when you're at the bottom of the mountain and you're kind of scrambling, you don't have your way, we also will protect an identity that's not serving us, right? Because the brain wants to be congruent, right? So once you make that up level, and then you're in, there's power in proximity. I say this all the time, and it's Tony Robbins' line, and it's so friggin' true. Good people know good people. They have great resources. They have great connections. They have great opportunities. There's synergy and synchronicity. Then all of a sudden you protect what you have created, as you're saying, and what you have become, and then you feel like you belong in a whole new environment and engagement and energy, right? Which is the things that I talk about. So if you want to start over and end better, my friends, as we're talking about this idea of when you've outgrown, and when you've maybe outgrown an identity, even a community, and you want to be able to belong, and you want to be able to become, and you want to have this identity shift, then, my people, I want you to right now go ahead and like the My Outgrown page, like this profile, KJ_Christensen, and DM me the words My Outgrown Masterclass. And Anthony has been so generous. He's going to hop on and teach a bonus Roots and Fruits process, which you've done with me privately, and it's really, really powerful. And I'm going to be teaching some of my framework, and we're going to help you start over, end better, belong, and become as you make this identity shift, so that you can close out 2020, even amidst all of the chaos and all of the crisis and all of the uncertainty, feeling more control, more creative direction, more momentum, and more alignment. Thank you
Love it.
so
Very
much.
welcome.
So DM me right now.
DM
My
Angie, and
Outgrown
I see Angie
Masterclass.
asking a bunch of questions. I got to hop, Angie, but feel free to send me a message and ask these questions as well as KJ.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a hard stop. I got to go, but I definitely, you guys have some phenomenal questions, but they don't have to stop here. We're not
Yes.
disappearing from the world. Continue the conversation.
Yes.
Definitely message KJ. She'll help you out.
And if you want to
everybody.
nominate anyone also, sorry, real quick, if you want to nominate
Yeah.
anyone for the My Outgrown conversations here that we're doing live, go ahead and DM me someone's handle so that I can check them out. And we're also going to be celebrating on the My Outgrown page people who are resilient, you know, the resilient ones who are doing all these hard things that we're talking about. Let's give them some love and spread some positivity.
I'm all for it.
Cheers.
All right, everybody.
Appreciate you all. Much love. You might feel down, but you're not done. That's the deal.